A very good morning. This is YES101's Visual Radio bringing you the news. I'm Joed Abdin. We start off with a look at your headlines.
News First headline.
In headlines, former South African President Thabo Mbeki to visit Sri Lanka for CMG summit. Railway gatekeepers end protest but technical staff to begin token strike. NATO commits to major defense spending hike sought by Trump. Alcaraz Sinner would benefit from new Big Three, says McEnroe. Onto those stories in detail. In local news, former South African President Thabo Mbeki, a prominent statesman and the second democratically elected leader of South Africa, is scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka this morning. Mbeki will be the chief guest at the annual summit of the Capital Maharaja Group, set to take place tomorrow. During his visit, Mbeki is expected to meet with Sri Lankan President Anukumara Dissanayake, engage with young entrepreneurs and business leaders in Colombo, and participate in the Gammadda Rural Development Initiative over the weekend. Thabo Mbeki is the most important African political figure of his generation. From June 1999 until September 2008, he was leader of Africa's most industrialized state, having succeeded the revered Nelson Mandela as president of post-apartheid South Africa. Even before then, Mbeki ran the country as de facto prime minister under President Mandela, who for most part handed over the reins of power to his heir apparent shortly after assuming presidency in May 1994. As a key leader of the African National Congress in exile, Mbeki had from the 1960s played a significant role in the anti-apartheid struggle under the mentorship of ANC President Oliver Tambo, and then led secret talks to end apartheid with the white South African corporate sector, Afrikaner intellectuals and National Party officials in the late 1980s. On to more local news, railway technical staff across Sri Lanka have decided to commence a token strike protesting against the reduction of overtime allowances. The strike is expected to continue until tomorrow morning. According to Sampath Amaravansa, the joint convener of the Railway Trade Union Alliance in Ratmalana, the decision was made after repeated appeals to the Railway Department failed to yield a satisfactory response. The strike involves railway technical managers and assistants, and while it is not a full-scale work stoppage, it is expected to impact operations and maintenance schedules. Meanwhile, railway gatekeepers who had been on strike since yesterday have called off their protest and resumed duties today. The absence had caused significant disruptions to train services, particularly on coastal and Putlam lines where several level crossings remained open overnight. In some areas, train drivers and controllers were seen manually managing traffic at crossings, signalling vehicles to stop as trains approached. In Gauls Makarua area, a train assistant was observed stepping off the train to prevent vehicles from entering the tracks due to unmanned gates. Railway General Manager Dhammika Jasundara confirmed that gatekeeper services have returned to normal. Up next is international news.
International news.
On to news overseas, NATO allies have agreed to massively boost military spending while affirming their ironclad commitment to collective defense. Leaders from the 32-member bloc pledged to allocate up to 5% of their national GDP to defense and related sectors by 2035, describing the move as a quantum leap in collective security. The new pledge was made in a summit communique agreed on Wednesday in The Hague. It stated that members would invest 5% of GDP annually on core defense requirements as well as defense and security-related spending. Up next is your update on sports.
Sports news.
Finally, in sports, in tennis great John McEnroe says the emergence of a third young star to challenge the supremacy of Carlos Alcaraz and Yannick Sinner would push the duo's already scintillating rivalry to new heights. Alcaraz and Sinner are coming off a French Open final for the ages and head into next week's Wimbledon, having evenly split the last 6 majors between them. And with that, we wrap up this edition of the Yes 101's Visual Radio, bringing you the news. I've been Juad Abdin. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.